Pardon an interruption, this is Troy Hill with the Star Chronicles. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you're interested in making your own podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
The Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
Just Us Radio presents the Star Chronicles.
How about this, Cowboys?
Yeah! And goal. Elliott into the end zone.
Welcome back. This is the Star Chronicles Cowboys football podcast, and this is a very special episode. This is the time we interview a listener. This is the second time we've done it. We're very excited about it. But first, let's go ahead and introduce my co-host, Starstruck Fan, and Lisa. How are you guys both doing this evening?
Doing well, Troy. Doing well.
Doing well, and how are you, Lisa?
Same. Bye week's over. I got my nerves back in order. Let's go for the second half.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do this. The listener this week, his name is Kyle. Can you say hi to the people, Kyle?
Going, guys. Cowboys Nation. What's up?
See there? Lots of energy. I like that. So tell me, first off, how long you've been a Cowboy fan and what has made you become a Cowboy fan?
All right. So I'm 36. My dad was in the military, so I moved around a lot. But I had relatives that lived in the Dallas area. And I remember the very first item I got was in like the late 80s. Remember the starting lineup figures back in the day? Those little tiny stuff?
Uh-huh.
They're like 5 inches tall.
Yeah.
My first Cowboys thing I ever got was like for Christmas, a Danny White starting lineup figure.
Oh, wow.
And,
you went
yeah.
back. That's
Wow.
what I'm talking about. You're welcome to the family. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. We're all throwback.
Which to this day I still have. And,
Oh, wow.
So that's
yeah,
awesome.
I still have it. Yeah. And I also got remember I guess now it comes like a little plastic, for kids, a helmet with the pads and the little jersey with the punch brand,
Yes.
whatever. I had a Herschel Walker, one of those. So the
Wow.
very
Nice.
first Cowboys thing. I still have the helmet too.
No, see, that's awesome because I have a close, a spiritual relationship with Herschel Walker because when I used to play football when I was younger, like 7th, 8th grade before high school, Herschel Walker was like a big deal. My nickname was Herschel, so
Nice.
that's definitely really cool. So, where are you from?
I grew up in the early '90s in North Carolina, and being as how I had only had the a couple of Cowboys things, that was my team. Obviously, they won those Super Bowls. And this was before the Carolina Panthers were even a team. At that time, I left in '95 to move to New Jersey, and that's when Carolina first got a team. But by then I'd already been a Cowboys fan, seen 2, 3 Super Bowls, so it was already ingrained. So, and then I moved up. Like I said, '95, '96, I moved to New Jersey, but right outside Philadelphia, of all places. Yeah.
Yeah, so that must be a challenge in itself. And there's like a melting pot of certain fans. So you probably got Eagles fans, Jets fans, Giant fans, probably like all kind of like intertwined there, so to speak.
Yeah. So it's funny, yeah. So like the way it is, Trenton pretty much is the middle of New Jersey. Anything south of Trenton is all Philadelphia. Sixers, Phillies, Eagles, Flyers. Everything north of Trenton, you're talking Jets, Giants, Rangers, Knicks, Nets, Yankees. So that's where I'm at now. I live in North Jersey now. So yeah, I live literally a half hour away from MetLife Stadium. It takes about a half hour. And when I lived in New Jersey, South Jersey, I was a half hour away from back then it was Veteran Stadium. I remember those games.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Yep. So,
wow. That.
Yeah, I've always been in enemy territory.
Well, I can relate to that. I mean, and Starstruck can relate to that too, because we're not originally. We're not originally from this area.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
matter of fact, some of our background sounds pretty similar there, Kyle. As a matter of fact, I grew up in the Carolinas as well.
Okay.
So, and also already had been a Cowboys fan prior to Carolina coming into existence. A lot of my friends kind of jumped ship and went and became Panthers, and I just held steady.
Yeah.
No, that's a good choice. That's a very good choice. See, Lisa's the only person on the show who's like native Texan born and bred. So
I can tell by the accent.
Everybody can tell it automatically when I say anything, especially any word that has the letter that comes after H in the alphabet. That's a dead giveaway that I'm born and raised here.
Okay, cool.
Well, since we do have this kind of like dynamic of kind of like fans that, that kind of like grew up, being fans, not actually living here. Lisa, let me go ahead and ask you real quick, because I think this is a good question. Do you look differently at people that are fans of the Cowboys that are not from Texas? Because I know some people kind of have like that kind of hiccup about them.
I don't. And here's why. Because just like Kyle's story, you don't really know. Like, I'm always curious. I'm always like, I think those stories are fascinating, and how, especially like that Jersey, you're like right in the middle of where it's not that we're not even on the radar. Like, they hate us. Like, they hate the Cowboys. So it's not like you're a little bit dealing with it. It's like in your face almost. And so I'm always curious how, like, to everyone's backstory, but absolutely not. Like, I don't, just because in my family, it was kind of like being jumped into a gang. Like, you just were. Like, it wasn't, we were little, my grandmother was, and so that's just what it was. And she got us all these little figurines. They were ceramic, and the girls were painted like cheerleaders, and the boys were football players. And every single one of the grandkids it was all Dallas Cowboys. I mean, there was, and I was like, what if people don't like that team? I mean, I couldn't, it was okay with me, but.
Well, see, it's different for you, probably, because, it's probably like, 75, 80% Cowboy fan. Then, I mean, I had to deal with Bear fans and Packer fans where I grew up, and I don't hate the Bears, because I got a lot of great family members that are Bears fans. They've always been respectful, but the Packer fans, God. If I could create a GoFundMe account to take Lambeau Field and the fans and, send them on a space shuttle into the sun, I would do it. But, I mean, because I literally hate them more than I hate the Eagles,
No, that's how I feel about Eagles and Giants fans. Like, I can tolerate the Giants fans. They're not as obnoxious, and they've had recent success, 2007, 2011. But the I grew up, like I said, in South Jersey. The Eagles fans are the absolute worst. There is not a fan base on any sport that I hate more than Eagles and Eagles fans. They are the worst. Oh, my God.
Yep, I get it. I totally understand. Well, Kyle, you've been a listener to the show since we've been in existence, and we certainly appreciate that, and we appreciate all the listeners. Actually, we got listeners all over the country right now. Which is like amazing. We got 12% of our listener base is from France. 1% from Puerto Rico. So
France.
Yes,
I know for sure they can't understand what I'm saying.
They might not. They probably think she's just a hoot. But
that's probably why they're like, "Ooh, let's listen to her talk."
So
she sounds funny.
I mean, and to these people that listen to the show, you guys need to follow us on the *Chronicles. Go ahead and give us a follow if you'd like to be on the show. We'd love to hear your perspective, especially being from overseas. That would be amazing, because I would like to know what the Cowboy impact is there, because I've said it several times. We're not only America's team, we're Earth's team. And I got 5 billion reasons why that's a fact. But let's go ahead and kick it back to Kyle. What is a question that you would like to ask us or discuss as far as the Cowboys or the state of the Cowboys right now at this moment?
Well, so obviously, I told you I'm close to New York. I mean, the biggest question that just happened, would you have traded for Jamal Adams? If it took a first and 2 seconds as being reported, would you have pulled the trigger?
That's still a little rich, but it sounds a lot better to me than a first next year and a first after that. So I would definitely probably consider it.
Yeah.
I know there's value with the second round pick, so that's another issue you got to put up with. I mean, what were you thinking about Larry Allen, Jalen Ramsey? Was Darren Woodson also drafted number 2 or second round?
Jalen Ramsey for sure was not second round. He was top 5.
Yeah, but I mean, he was.
Oh, you're talking about Jalen Smith.
Oh, Jalen Smith. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was second. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but then you could also go to the other side of the coin. Is Tristan Hill doing anything for you this year? I mean, the guy's inactive every week. I mean,
and he got in trouble today. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Was that today?
He got sent home yesterday.
Yeah.
And then he had to do extra conditioning today.
Yeah. Well, he's basically the Taco Charlton.
Yeah. Yeah, basically that's the thing. Like they talk about him, and I'm like, I'm having flashbacks of 3 years ago with what they were saying about Taco Charlton. I'm like, what are they seeing in these guys that they think they can just change these personalities and develop these guys into one staff? I don't get it.
It doesn't work. And you know what the funny thing is too? Back then we were doing a show called Just Us Radio Presents the Star Chronicles. I used to do a side radio show, which will come back here probably after football season's over, where we just talk about a bunch of different stuff. But anyways, we were all on board for TJ Watt. That's what we wanted.
Me too. Oh my God.
I mean,
yes.
I had my edit ready just to sit there and hit submit soon when I heard his name on local radio, so it come out before ESPN revealed it. And I just sat there all of a sudden, Taco. I'm like, you gotta be kidding.
Yeah. Because I used to listen to the draft show the guys do, Broadus and Hellman, and I get the magazine every year, and I remember the same thing they were talking about Taco is like he doesn't have a high motor, he takes plays off. Like they say the same exact thing about Tristan Hill.
Exactly.
And then, I think you look at a guy like TJ Watt. He his first week for the Steelers, he gets an interception. The guy gets AFC defensive player of the week like 3 times his rookie year. You know what I mean? Like it just. Mm-hmm. But their excuse was, he doesn't fit our system. You take the talent and you make it fit. You know what I mean? You don't pass up on talent like that. And
exactly.
I mean, sometimes you can make a player just fit into your system. A person who seems like as talented as he is, it seems like you could have him do a bunch of different things, and at the same time, it doesn't seem like you get an attitude from him. Also.
But even that kind of goes back to the Jamal discussion too, Jamal Adams, because technically, I mean, he's not the prototype safety that this staff wants. No. But he immediately changes the
He's a game changer.
He immediately changes the scope of your team's, what they can or can't accomplish in the next, several games. He automatically changes that.
But it's still the cost. What is your perspective, Starstruck? Would you give up a first and 2 second round picks for him?
Man, it is funny you say, because I was actually marinating on an article just before I jumped, before we got into the show, and man, this article made me really think, because I was like, that's just a lot for this guy. But when I started thinking, okay, what are our aspirations? What are we thinking about doing this year?
Mm-hmm.
Are we NFC East division winning team, or are we trying to win a Super Bowl? Now, if you decide to pass on Jamal Adams, you know what that tells me? That tells me NFC East division crown again. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't assure me that we've got what it takes to win a Super Bowl now that we did not make the move. So you make a gamble like that when you think that is the final piece. And I think it very well could have been, because the offense, I believe, is there. Mm-hmm. But that defense, if you got one position that you can question right now, and I know a lot of the fan base will throw Dak out there, but outside of the fan base that want to trash Dak, what other position do you hold as a question mark right now?
Jeff Heath is trash.
Jeff Heath, thank you. I can't believe people stuck up for this guy. I mean,
we're going to win.
He is as bad as you think he is.
He's
terrible.
Well, the thing is about Jeff Heath and stuff, I mean, I try and stress to listeners or just people I talk to, at work or just walking along the street or whatever, that You can put up a nice Jeff Heath highlight package of him doing amazing things. But that goes to say, that's the same thing saying like almost every player in the league, collegiate, high school.
Yeah.
I can always put up like 4 or 5 good things you might have did. People should be more concerned about the 100 or 200 things that you messed up on and have that highlight reel.
6 years for Jeff Heath. 8
Well, and
interceptions
I
in 6 years.
the thing with Jeff Heath that people don't realize is his shortcomings expose the others around him.
Exactly.
The flip side of that is you bring in somebody like Jamal Adams and he makes that entire secondary better because that's not a hole you have to worry about anymore.
Yes,
that's taken care of.
But I mean, I know I'm probably like the only person in this conversation that's 100% on board with the Michael Bennett trade for 7th round pick. But having him in there, having him be able to play inside, outside, that helps. That, like I said before, that helps the linebackers. That helps the secondary because there's no secondary in the league designed to cover anybody for 7 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean, you could have a whole field full of Deion Sanders back there, but if they're out there for like 10 seconds, 7 to 10 seconds, somebody's going to get exposed eventually. Somebody's going to get open. So
But if you got somebody like Deion back there, you got at least one half of the field shut down.
Yeah.
True.
And the thing is, if you pick up somebody like not a bad move for Michael Bennett. Okay, so that fixes your up front. But in the event he misses or somebody misses or for whatever reason they decide to take a play off and that quarterback does get the ball downfield, you have nobody that's making plays in your secondary.
Nobody.
Making it. At least if the pass rush doesn't get there, you got a safety back there that still makes that quarterback think twice before he lets the ball go. There's nobody in our secondary making a quarterback second guess himself. That's just me.
That's my biggest thing. I mean, defenses offenses need to know where he is in the field at all times because he can make plays. I mean, we lost that game against Jets because on the goal line, the 2-point conversion on a blitz, and he was in Dak's face within 0.2 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, do you ever see Jeff Heath doing that? Or I like Woods, but I mean, like Jeff Heath's not doing that. You know what I mean? This guy, he just seems lost out there. I don't know. He's just
and he takes horrible angles.
Yeah, he's just a second off. He's second off.
I'm telling you,
it's been that way for 4 years now, and like this guy, he the way I see it is, I'm on board with Bennett. It's a 7th round pick. He's only here for 9 games. You know what I mean? You saw they restructured his contract. He's a free agent after the year. Yeah. I'm okay with that. So you solidify that middle, that line. Our linebackers, I'm good with. But you're right. The secondary, I mean, it's just it's awful. I mean, that's not as awful, but it's not creating any turnovers. I mean, that's
not creating any turnovers.
Well, see, that's the larger part of it. I don't think they're horrible. I think they're not generating turnovers. I mean, Byron Jones.
I think they're not Super Bowl worthy. How about that?
Yeah. Well, they're solid enough, but they're not helping. They're not getting the ball back the offense. You know what I mean?
Who started the season saying we just want to win the division? Sometimes I think that's how our coaching staff thinks.
I was about to say, did somebody really say that?
I'm sitting there looking. I'm scrolling through my phone. I'm like, what?
I must have been drinking if I said that.
Yeah, could you imagine Jerry Jones saying that? We just want to win the division, and then that's good enough for us. I mean, that would just be terrible.
For him, it is. He always talks about making the playoffs. We want to take a seat in the dance.
But
that's good enough for him.
It's bigger than that, though. I mean, I don't think these people. We want Super Bowls. I don't want to go into the playoffs and just to be there. I mean,
wild card round. I know, big deal.
Yeah. That's kindergarten stuff. Like everyone gets an award for participating. Even you, Jimmy. You know, I mean, I don't like that.
The article addressed that Jamal Adams. That the Cowboys are going to pursue Jamal Adams again during the offseason.
But how?
So what does that have to do with this year?
Yeah, and it's going to cost them more money at this point too. You should have just traded and took those games. I mean,
the only thing that works in the Cowboys' favor right now is that after what was said, as soon as the trade deadline was over, and Jamal said that relationship between Jamal and the powers that be for the Jets organization, it's broken.
Yeah, 100%.
And so they're probably going to look to deal him because they're terrified. And and we talked about this a while back, but Jalen Ramsey and Trent Williams had a precedence about Jalen. How did Jalen Ramsey's back that kept him out?
Oh yeah,
at least 3 or 4 games with Jacksonville. How did it heal on a flight from Jacksonville to LA?
Yeah,
legit. He was on the. I mean, I can't play in Jacksonville. To the very next week, he's starting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Rams are the Rams
they're going to be
so
terrified of. Is
the Rams are going to be so set to implode here soon enough because they're not going to be able to afford to pay anybody. I mean, that franchise is going to be just erased off the earth.
But you know what, Troy? Guess what? They're not worrying about next year right now.
Exactly.
They're worrying about picking him up this year and potentially winning the Super Bowl. See, that's our mentality. We're always thinking we got next year. We did that with Tony Romo
every year.
And then all of a sudden his career ends. And now we're like, well, we thought we had 5 more years with this guy. That's our mentality.
Well, and they got to factor in
that.
Yeah, you got to factor in the age of the O-line.
Rams made that move to win now.
Missing games every year now.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to get back to rebuilding that line. That's for sure. Yeah. And I don't know how they're going to be able to spread all this money around. Because Dak, I mean, everybody, I like to ask this question every show. Kyle, should Dak get paid?
Oh, I've been on board with Dak since day one. Yeah, I mean, look. I saw today his. If you look around the league, what he's ranks and almost every quarterback statistic, he's like, third in this, fifth in that, third in this, seventh in that. I mean, there's one thing I know. He's a leader of those guys. He's a leader of men, and you've seen once a year, you see people question Carson Wentz's leadership, his locker room, people talking behind his back. You know what I mean? Like, we have never heard anything coming out of Dallas about that. Even when, Tony Romo had that locker for 10 years. In 2016, Dak came in. That was his team. No one, no one leaked anything to the press. No one was talking like he doesn't know what he's doing. The guy I don't know. We talk, John Kitna talks about his guy's work ethic. He wants to work. As soon as he's on the plane after loss, he wants to go back and watch film. I don't question it. You know what I mean? I think he deserves it. I mean, at this point, the only people who are talking bad about him are people more loyalists who can't get over 2016. You know what I mean? They don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? And
they're either Romo loyalists or they just don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'll just be blunt about it because I understand there's empty numbers and statistics as far as players go in this league, but Dak has things that are not quantifiable as a leader. There's things that he 100%. Do that there's other quarterbacks in the league don't do. And I've said it like 10 billion times. If he had to dink and dunk all the way up the field, I don't care if it's a touchdown at the end.
7 points, 7 points. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and if you're taking 8 minutes, if you're taking 8 minutes off the clock, you can win 7-6 because they're not going to have enough time to do anything.
We just got beat 12-10 by the Saints with Bridgewater.
Yeah,
it's a win. A win's
because
a win.
All he did was dink and dunk. That's all he did.
Win's a win.
Sean Payton schemed up that game plan specifically for Bridgewater against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
But again, I mean, I've mentioned it before. You take a defense that's going to get you some turnovers. That Saints game could have been different if you take away those 2 turnovers in the last game.
But Kyle said it exactly what happened. Sean Payton re-schemed his offense for Teddy Bridgewater's skill set.
Yep.
And, Michael Thomas was coming off of an injury. Kamara wasn't 100%. He schemed that game.
Yep.
He didn't care what Dallas was going to do. All he was doing was making sure that he was setting Teddy up to sucsucceed.
Which goes back to my biggest problem with this team is I think you guys all know this. At least Starstruck knows Jason Garrett. He holds his team. He is the sole reason this team has not done anything. I mean, I wasn't the hugest Romo fan, but they had a talented team then. They should have done more than 2 playoff wins. You know what I mean?
They should have, but they didn't build enough around them, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It was that bend, don't break mentality. I mean, you got Jason Hatcher and a host of others on the line that were actually
Ratliff.
Ratliff. I mean, they were productive for what we had, but they weren't killers. You know,
that's the problem. There's no killer instinct. I mean, this team is like
those are the guys that you want coming up on your second on in your depth.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your depth guys. You don't want them starting.
I know.
So,
I mean,
no,
like I said,
no hate on no hate on
Hmm.
Jason Hatcher. I see him every once in a while and stuff because my son and his son are actually great friends and stuff. So, but I mean,
he's hilarious. He's a great follow on social media. I haven't seen him in a while, but he's real funny.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, what's your perspective on the rest of the season, Kyle? You think we're kind of like in the same boat where we were last year, where we turn everything around and, things are, we're going to get to the playoffs and everything will be all great until, because I was telling people last year, I was so confident. I'm like, we're going to go down to LA and we're going to punch the Rams in the mouth. And I was still saying that at halftime.
I'm never that confident because I'm always, I mean, like, with this team, you know what you're going to get. We're going to, like Jason Garrett says, we're going to do what we do. This is what we do, no matter what. Like, I mean, that doesn't work every game. You got to, like, he's going to get out coached. And I said, and I posed this to a bunch of people last year when we lost to the Rams. If Sean McVay was coaching the Dallas Cowboys and Jason Garrett was coaching the Rams, we win that game.
Going away.
Cowboys win that game.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not even
Excellently
close.
put.
I think that is better than Jared Goff. Let's be real here. He's better than Jared Goff.
Oh, of course.
Amari Cooper is better than the receivers they're playing with. You could flip a coin between Gurley and Zeke, but Dallas would. I mean, we kept it close. But if Sean McVay was coaching Dallas, he's scheming up things to make it more dynamic. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, it's.
Yeah, so, we were talking last week, and we were saying basically if Belichick was coaching the Cowboys, we'd be undefeated
oh my God,
right
forget
now.
it.
We'd be undefeated right now.
This team has talent.
He would not lose to the Jets, and he proved that.
Yeah.
Belichick proved he would not lose to the Jets. He proved that.
No, 37-0. I know. I couldn't believe it. I saw that, and I just shook my head. Like, how did we lose to that team? I was there at the game.
Well,
I was hoping for the Jets to win because I was like, come on, Jets. Because if you win, this will prove that you guys are better than what everybody thought.
Well,
there's nothing to say.
There's some people though. I've been looking at. I mean, I was looking down my feed and stuff, and then some people were like, "Oh, Sam Darnold is maybe way better than what we thought." I'm like, no, we just like to play down to everybody that's mediocre.
Exactly.
That's what we do. We're gonna make.
That's why.
We've made Colt McCoy look like a quarterback guy.
Oh my God! Don't even bring up that game.
Set the tone. Coach has got to set the tone with everybody. We beat everybody. Whoever comes through those doors, we beat them. That's the mentality of a Super Bowl team. You dominate. You dominate. You shut teams out. You shut teams down.
Yeah.
49ers. Jared Goff had 48 yards passing against the 49ers a couple of weeks ago. 48. Nobody knows about that. Because had Dak had thrown for 48 yards, it would have been all over the news that week. But
they'd still be talking
about it. You go back
and
research that Jared Goff threw for 48 yards on the 49ers.
Yeah,
you have to have a defense that dominates.
There's like a lot of people that are saying that the 49ers are not elite, which, I mean, me personally, I don't believe they're elite neither, but they're definitely doing the things what championship teams are supposed to do. They don't play down. What else they're
doing?
What's that?
Winning.
They're not losing.
Exactly.
There ain't So you can say what you want to say about what they're not doing. They're not losing to a team that they shouldn't have lost to. They beat the Cardinals. And people will say, well, they're not a good team. And they didn't lose to them either.
Yeah.
Right. And let me tell you what happened. So that game was actually not as close as it appeared. I don't know if y'all.
It was
not.
But it's like the rear view mirror.
There was one
kind
big
of effect
play.
on the car.
Yeah, Arizona had that one big play, and here's what I saw on the 49ers sidelines after that big play. And Richard Sherman, he got so turned around, he missed a tackle. I mean, but he was losing his entire mind on the sideline. Part of it was self-directed, but that's what we're lacking on this team.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody that's going to, and I'm going to say this is not really the worst of the bad words, but there's nobody getting in anyone's ass when things go south.
No, you're 100% correct.
There should have been fits and anger outbursts as bad as I was having them.
Well, was that the Jason Witten game? where he made the comment
Yes.
that field goals aren't going to win this
Yes.
game?
Yeah. I'm going to say it as nice as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh boy.
Field goals not going to win this game.
Well,
It's not, but that's what they think is okay. They accept it. They think that's acceptable. Like I said, they just, and I say the same thing. The more you kick a field goals, you're getting field goals because it takes one possession to be losing by. You know what I mean? It's just
Absolutely.
it's a numbers game. But let's go ahead and do this. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the Star Chronicles featuring one of our listeners, Kyle, or Do Lover
Diet Double Do Lover. That's a South Park reference.
Well, you're going to explain that to me because I used to watch a lot of South Park. But we're going to go ahead and take a break.
All right, definitely.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back here in a few seconds. Hello, I'm Troy Hill with the Star Chronicles Cowboys Talk podcast, sponsored by Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, free, which you can use right from your phone or computer with creation tools that allow you to record and edit to get your show sounding glorious. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So what you need to do is download the Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Did I mention it was free? Welcome back. We're back here in the Star Chronicles Cowboys football podcast with our special guest, Kyle. We got our co-host, the Starstruck fan, and Lisa here in the house as well. The next question we have for Kyle is, what do you think inspires or motivates this team? Because we've talked about it and bounced this thing around back and forth for the last few weeks, and we're all stuck. So what is your perspective on what do you think drives this team?
I mean, for me, it's like a broken record. This team only performs when its backs are against the wall. Have you never noticed that? Like, how many times we have to win? We lost.
Talked about that.
We need to win this game, or okay, our back against the wall. There's 3 minutes left. We need, we need a field goal to win. We're down by 2. It's like, why couldn't why couldn't you have just maybe run a hurry up offense in the first quarter? Why do you wait the last second to do it? It always works. You know what I mean? It's just, and then this whole Garrett thing. Oh, if he loses the Eagles, he's in the hot seat. What does he do? He wins. It's like, who's that coming? You know what I mean? It's like every year, though.
Can we have the press sit up there and just come out with an article every week that he's on the hot seat again?
Yeah,
I know he's won 5 games in a row, but he's on the hot seat.
Yeah,
we've expressed several times on the show. I think we all like Jason Garrett as a person, right?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly,
I
honestly don't like to wish that people get fired. I think that's a bad thing because, I mean, at the end of the day, somebody's employed, they're losing a job. I wouldn't be mad if he doesn't decide to retire or resign because then that would be his own thing. I just don't feel he should be the coach of this team going forward in the future. So I won't sit here and say, put the post things, fire him because, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, he's trying to work and employ. I wouldn't want nobody rooting for me to get fired, but. He definitely should find.
If you are bad at your job,
he's
underperformed.
Yeah. So he definitely should find a different career though, on his own. Resign, whether with that ever look, retire, whatever that look, step away.
He needs to be one of those those analytics guys because he likes that kind of stuff. I mean,
but he talks like a robot, so it'll be a career.
Another reason why he needs to be in analytics.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, it's like you don't want to see anybody be fired, but I've said it a couple of weeks ago. I want this whole coaching staff blown up.
Me too. I agree.
I mean, I
would
just
have
do.
asked the Wade Phillips days.
What?
Yeah.
Chris Rashard is not the answer to being the next head coach. Really?
I don't. I'm cooling off on him too. Actually, I don't know. I was
same here.
Because you know what? I thought that if this team did well this year. They'll extend Garrett and Richard's gone, and then you're back in the boat you were in 2 years ago. You know what I mean? We're underperforming average defense. We don't get sacks. We don't get turnovers. But I don't know. I mean,
my question always is that Richard had a few interviews last year for head coaching positions. If he was that solid, why is he a head coach right now?
Exactly. And I heard Miami was the only team that really wanted him, right? Miami, look where they are right now. They're terrible, you know?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have done any better.
Exactly. 100%.
No, I mean, because, I mean, we've said it before, is the two spectrums of motivation. You got the guy who's going to clap, and you got the guy who's going to yell. And what's the end result out of both of those? The defense doesn't perform 90 or doesn't perform 100%. Yeah. You know, and the offense does stupid things sometimes with play selection and everything else. I mean, the play selection just drives me nuts. Did you listen to an episode? Well, you listen to all the episodes, but did you hear the episode where we were talking about where I'm 100% convinced that this offense isn't different? It's just like a few cosmetic changes that makes it appear to be different. You
said it was a donut with different sprinkles or something like that?
Yes,
right?
yes. He's listening.
100%. No, I'm on board. This is the same predictable offense, except one guy goes in motion. Oh, big deal. Whoa, my God, motion. Like they act like they reinvented the wheel because they throw a guy in motion. My God, it's
and how long does that take to figure it out?
Exactly.
2 weeks, just when they struggled against the Dolphins a little bit, but the Dolphins are just completely terrible.
Yeah. Honestly, that thing works. I see a lot of other teams doing it. The thing is, we don't stick to it.
Exactly.
That thing worked. We tried it actually a few years ago. If you think about it, back when we had Romo and Murray, we had tried it for a little bit, and then they went away from it then too. Yeah. That offense actually works because I've seen it, and I've seen it analyzed by people in the studio. When that guy comes across, now that linebacker and a lot of people are shifting because they don't know whether that guy's going to get the handoff or that guy's going to line up, turn forward, and when that ball snap, takes off and go. So that guy in motion has a lot of different things, whether you can hand off to the running back while that guy's coming across. So it does a lot of different things.
It's like when they stopped. It's like when they stopped using play action. Remember, they were so successful in play action. They were leading the league in play action. Yeah, and then it just disappeared. Where the heck did the play action go?
Yep.
And
it's just. Oh, go ahead.
You don't even need to have the run before. It's just the threat of the run. With Zeke back there, every team's going to bite and play action. Let's be real here. You know what I mean? Like, it just got. Okay, we're going to run 70% of the time in first down again and get 2
Blake
yards.
Jarwin scored off of that.
Dust, you know?
Remember the boot? Remember the naked boot Dak throws hits Blake Jarwin like wide open on the goal line because everybody chased after Zeke.
That was the first time I've seen that play Dallas has run in years. They don't do that. That's the kind of thing
you
that was
won't see it again.
I see every team in NFL in that goal line situation. The tight end always ends up wide open. But Dallas, it's like with us, we can't even run a screen pass. I mean, we don't run basic screens. We
even ran a screen this year.
Even if they do,
once or twice, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, and I know you want to keep your quarterback safe, but like he's shown that he has the ability to run a little bit. That's the other thing. I don't know why there's not more designed runs. And I get it. You got to keep him upright. I understand that. But to throw 1 or 2 in every game or to have it at least in your arsenal, the threat of it, again, even if you don't run it, if you see it, if a team sees it one time, then they know that it's in there. Yeah. That it's an option.
Yeah.
And
well,
it's just frustrating.
Even with me and stuff.
This is the Jason Garrett offense. This is what it is. I mean, it's just some guy calling his plays. That's it.
Even against the Packers, I mean, we were down 14-0. They kind of like abandoned the run, and I didn't understand. Yep. I didn't understand that early in the game why you're going to abandon the run.
That's what they do.
It's like they just do stuff that doesn't make. I mean, it's like someone's like playing like Madden or something, you know?
Exactly. It's like Jason Garrett has it scripted out, and he's like, okay, on the first play of the first series, this is what we're going to run. On the second play it's like a flow chart. If we get a first down, then we're going to run this, and it doesn't matter. And like back to the analytics. Okay, if you're down 14, you got to abandon the run. Not when you're supposedly have the best running back in the game, and you're only down 2 touches.
And it's the first quarter. It's the first quarter of the game.
And against the defense, whose biggest weakness is run defense.
Yeah, they were playing like they were like 35 down. You know, in
They
the
almost
first
were
quarter.
later.
Well, yeah, well, that's just. I don't get this team sometimes.
Me neither.
Love them. Don't get them.
We said that last show that they lack an identity under the same
100%.
head coach for the last how many years, and we still don't really have an identity of what we do on a good level. I mean, we can name a lot of negative stuff that we're known for, but there's not that one identity that says, well, if nothing else, I mean, I guess our running game. But other than that, everything else is like, really, I mean, you're not known for a defense. We're starting to come around with the receivers. Amari's doing his thing, but we're still kind of inconsistent with the other guys. But we really don't have that one identity other than just running. We got to have more. We got to, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
But even with the running part, it seems like we start to get into rhythm, and instead of just riding that till the wheels fall off, then he'll want to throw in some janky pass play that it's like, what?
I know.
We have
what
two
are you
legit
doing?
running backs. We have two legit running backs. There should be no reason why we have to come out of the run if it's being effective.
I know. I'd like to see Pollard involved more. Like we saw it last game. He was like, they had two running backs in the backfield. Why do I say that a little more often? You know what I mean?
Rams destroyed us with that.
That's a look teams have never seen from us ever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I tell you what, that Tony Pollard run, that was a man's run right there.
Dude,
because when he fell, he put his hand. It's like if you blink, it looked like he never even fell. That's how quick it was for him to get back up to being level and heading down the field.
Yeah, there's sometimes he's in the game, and I don't remember. I don't realize it's not Zeke. I'm like, wait, I thought it was. Wait, it's Pollard because he's running in between tackles. He's running hard, and he's always falling forward, just like Zeke. You know what I mean? I just that's what kind of pisses me off the most. Do you remember back in the preseason? Oh, we have our Alvin Kamara. Really? Because you're not using this guy at all. You know what I mean? There was like those stretch of 3 games that we lost. He played like 5 snaps one game, 2 snaps in the other game. Like, does Alvin Kamara play 1 or 2 snaps a game? I'm pretty sure he does. You know what I mean? Don't try to feed me he's Alvin Kamara. You're never going to use him like that. You're not fooling me, at least. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Kyle, do you have what's your next question for us? Something that you've been pondering that you would like to discuss with other people?
I mean, the record speaks for itself. We haven't beaten a team with a winning record yet.
Nope.
If this team, I mean, we all know those teams don't make the playoffs, right? Like the Redskins, the Dolphins, the Giants aren't making the playoffs. So like so this team makes the playoffs, how confident that this team's going to have success in the playoffs, that they're going to win 3 games in a row against teams with winning records in the wild card, divisional, and championship game to even make a Super Bowl. I mean, am I the one that's not that confident in this team? They haven't showed me yet. They couldn't beat a Saints without Drew Brees. They couldn't beat a Packers without Adams. You know what I mean? And the loss to the Jets is just embarrassing.
Yeah.
But like I said, right now, the playoffs started today. I think they play Minnesota or something like that, right? They play Minnesota, Seattle. I mean,
Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think we have the Seahawks first round.
Seahawks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
let me today. Yeah.
Well, would you like me to answer the question as blinded by the star with like no common sense whatsoever, or would you like me to answer the question, or would you like me to answer the questions of answer like if I'm like a realist,
a real logical, rational fan? What is your perspective?
I would say love the Cowboys. Absolutely not. They have to do a lot more to prove me to think otherwise. Yeah. I mean, it's like I want my team to win. I want them to go to the Super Bowl, but I just don't see what they're doing right now as a clear path for them to do any of that.
Exactly.
But honestly, like, I think because, and I've said it before, this is hands down the worst relationship I've been in. And I've been in some really bad ones. So for me to say that about this team, but I honestly believe that if we were 7-0 right now, I still wouldn't be confident. If we were 12-0 going into the last half of, the last quarter of the season, I'm still not confident because my heart has been broken by this team so many times that it wouldn't matter if we were 16-0 going into the coming out of the bye week and in the second round, I'd be like, ooh, we're probably going to lose because my heart is delicate where this team is concerned. I can't get excited. I won't allow myself to be overly excited because of the heartbreak for the last 25-ish
4 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time. What's your perspective, Starstruck? Do you think – well, I already know what you think, but just go ahead and tell the people.
I was just going to say, first and foremost, if we were 7-0, I'd be a lot more confident, honestly, because in the years that we went 13-3, it took me a little ways to come around, but as that season progressed on, when we got into winning 7 and 8 games, I started thinking, okay, we might be on to something. So if we were 7-0 right now, that would put us up there with the Packers and the Saints that are 7-1 sitting there, and everybody's thinking they're going to do something this season. So my opinion, despite how I've seen that what we've done in the past, I would definitely be confident. But the thing is, we're not. So I am not confident right now because I don't think that we've done anything. We've added Michael Bennett. But you have to ask yourself, if you feel that we can go all the way or go deep into the playoffs, look at what the teams that are currently sitting in the top spot, what do they have? Look at the Saints. Do they have an offense? Do they have a defense that's playing lights out? What are the 49ers looking like? Because these are teams that you're going to have to go through to get to the Super Bowl. You got to get through the NFC first.
Yeah, but Ron, we have a top 5 offense and we have a top 10 defense.
Top 10 defense. I've said it on this show before. I've said on this show before. Top 10 defense is not going to get you in the Super Bowl. You need to be top 5 or better.
And
you don't need to be 6.
Patriots.
You don't need to be 7. You don't need to be 8. You don't need to be 9. You don't need to be 10. You need to be 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1.
Okay, and what separates the top 5 between like the people like 6 is turnovers, right?
Sacks plays a big part in it.
Yes,
sacks, turnovers.
Yeah, look at the scores of what these teams are putting up. They're shutting the Patriots are shutting teams out. The Saints were beating teams with winning records with a backup quarterback. Even though I give Bridgewater a little bit more credit than what some people are giving him. The 49ers, they held the last up until this past Monday night. The 49ers defense had held the last 4 quarterbacks they played, including Jared Goff, to 100 passing yards or less in the last 4 of the 5 weeks of the NFL season.
Yeah.
Yep.
100 yards passing or less. That's what's going to get you and separate you from the rest of the other teams. If we can't separate ourselves, guess what? We'll just win the NFC East again.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's not enough. It's just not enough.
Because to me, you're going to play. You're going to gamble with bend, don't break. Eventually, you break because the defense is out there. One too many possessions. They're gassed. They're going to break. You're going to let an 80-yard pass go by you. You're going to break. You know what I mean?
Yep. And what does it break? Usually when we need it most.
The most. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, suddenly our run defense died against the Rams last year.
Yeah. I mean, we had like a guy shaped like a bowling ball and stuff run like 2 billion yards.
Oh my God. That was,
I mean, I just don't. I mean, we've talked about it before that we don't understand why this team defensively doesn't take more risks, why there's not enough more blitzing.
Because of Jeff Heath.
Well, yeah, but still at the end of the day, you might have to just try and take that bullet just once.
I agree.
That's true.
I'm on board. Because Jeff Heath is going to get beat anyway.
Yeah. It goes back to his system. He doesn't like to blitz. He'd rather just create pressure with the 4 down linemen. But if you're not getting pressure, if you're not getting pressure, why don't you mix it up instead of 5th guy? Send a blitz. You know what I mean? But he refuses to. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Send Jeff Heath on a blitz because he didn't need to be in the backfield anyway.
I mean, I look at I look at the Legion of Boom, and I look at their levels of defense. They had a D-line, they had linebackers, and they had safeties.
Mm-hmm.
You've been with this team now for 2 seasons, and we're still missing a safety. We just got a defensive tackle in here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this team not shaping and forming into the team that you came from that set the standard on what defense should look like at all levels?
And we can take it back even further because everyone says that Seattle defense was an offshoot of Tampa 2. When Marinelli was a defensive coordinator, he had Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice, Garrett Brooks, And on the back end, he had John Lynch. John Lynch is a borderline Hall of Fame safety.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had Rondo. He had Rondo Barber too, didn't
exactly,
he?
Yeah, exactly. And these are the two positions this team has consistently neglected: a defensive, one technique tackle, and a safety. You know, and now it's showing in these games where they can't stop the run. You know what I mean? It's just like you neglected these positions. But historically, you've always had good ones on your defense. You know what I mean? With other teams. I just don't get the philosophy here.
Your defensive backs don't want to look back for the football because they're afraid they're going to get beaten. There's not going to be no help over the top.
Exactly.
So they're constantly looking at the receiver, drawing pass interference.
Like Cheeto.
Because they can't look back.
Exactly. I mean, Cheeto's playing tight coverage, but he doesn't get his head around ever. Yeah. You know, it's
the ball.
I think that's the difference too in the Legion of Boom, because the Legion of Boom, they were ball hawks, and like they knew where the ball was going to be. They just had that, and I don't think that's something you can teach. I just think that's
you're right. Yeah,
inside.
That's instinct.
Yeah,
and they had that, and that makes a difference too, because like with Cheeto's, like you said, Cheeto's always got tight coverage, but I can think of 3 right off the bat that if he had just turned a little bit, it would have been turnovers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And, Lisa had mentioned earlier about, he doesn't fit the mold as far as, Xavier Woods, but that's Earl Thomas. He's not that big. Jamal Adams. I mean, you were saying, he's not the prototype or whatever, but Earl Thomas was not that big either. We were trying to track him down last year. And I'm thankful now that as I look at it, that we did not put all of our eggs in the baskets. Even signing him, I don't think right now that would have been the answer.
Not for a guy who's 30 years old. Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, but I mean, Adams is 24. Yeah.
Jamal's 24 and has 2.5. I mean, he has 1.5 and then plus the 5th-year option left on his deal. And it's, I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
My blood pressure's up on a Friday, and that's
And like we said the other day, sometimes you got to pull your chips in. You have the pieces.
Yeah.
How many more years are we going to keep building and stockpiling picks? Okay, we have a first round. Essentially, you got to go out there and win games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the year, I think. I mean, the whole, NFC, it's for me, it's wide open. You know what I mean?
That's what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
It was like weird things are happening. Like, except for that Teddy went 5-0 when Drew was out. But when Drew got hurt, it was like, okay, they're going to stumble a little bit. 100%. Well, they didn't. But, the Rams, they're beatable. The Packers, they're playing well, but I think they're beatable.
I do too, yeah.
Everything to me is wide open in the NFC, just like you said. And it's like, at what point? Because if you keep kind of not pushing it back a year, but like, we're not gonna go all in this year because then that hurts us in years next year and 3, 4, and 5. Well, but then by that time, it's time to start retooling the offensive line.
Exactly.
So therefore, that's going to be more important than safety and D tackle. So you're back in the same boat, chasing your own tail because
Well, the rebuilding process of the offensive line probably already starts next year.
Yeah,
they probably get it if a good left tackle is available.
What, free agency?
No, I'm talking about in the draft. Probably, yeah.
Well, I mean, they would use that on their number 1 before they would do anything else. I can guarantee you.
It needs to be a safety. I'm sorry. If you're not going to spend your first round pick.
I totally 100% agree. But I'm telling you, if the best tackle is available with that first round pick, the Cowboys will take him over anybody is available.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I'm gonna put this in terms that for our last couple of drafts. Last 3, I think. Would you give up Taco, Tristan, and Connor Williams for Jamal Adams?
100%.
See?
Yeah.
That's a 1 and 2 twos.
Yeah, that's true. Putting it in that perspective. Damn, Lisa, good job.
Yeah, that was impressive.
No.
I've been working on that for like 7 straight days.
Yeah. No, I'm giving you some gap on that one.
Because I mean, you hear it on a high level, and yes, if your drafts are if you're one that you're giving up is TJ, no. But the way that this team has been drafting, I give up those 3 in a second.
Okay, well let me ask you.
Adams.
Well, let me ask you this question: how would you throw a Taco, a Tristan Hill, and a Jalen Smith? Because I just did the same thing you did, but added just one thing different.
I think it's easier to find a
linebacker.
Yeah.
Well, I've been telling people on the show. Everyone probably thinks I'm crazy, but I think Luke Gifford got something. He's been practicing and stuff. He might get like a little time here soon.
Yeah, that's about today. Yeah.
Yeah, I love what he was doing in preseason.
Yeah.
So. But I also liked Alumbo. Also, what was his name? Alumbo. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Is he still in the practice? God, he had 2 picks.
The corner,
man.
right? The corner.
Man.
Yeah, he had 2 picks.
Yeah.
He was picking it off in the second half of the preseason.
Yeah.
In the second half of the game. Really? Who's out there?
There's still more picks than what we're getting in
Exactly.
regular season.
Yes, I ain't sold on the guy. But I look at this again when it comes to the Rams. Again, we're talking about moves and things like that, and people giving up 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey. The Rams are giving that up because guess what? Where are they expecting to be picking in the draft for the first round for the next 2 years?
29.
Probably 29 through 32.
Yeah.
We're concerned about giving up first-round picks because we're probably thinking that we're going to be around
10.
2015. Something like that. A team
yeah.
that is expecting to win over the next couple of years with whoever they pick up in free agency is not concerned about the number 1 pick because they feel that we're going to be picking low anyway.
And that's a great point.
But that's not our mentality.
Yeah, because
let me
share something with the listeners. Our window is not Ram small. Pretty damn close though.
Yeah.
Our window is what, maybe 4 years max.
They wasted the window. If you ask me, they wasted the window. I mean, look at the teams that went to the Super Bowl the past few years. The Eagles did it with a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract. The Rams did it with a a quarterback on a rookie contract, and they used that to their advantage. We're gonna have to pay Dak next year $35 million. You know what I mean? Like those teams went all in when they knew they had their quarterback, and they went all in. Chips, and they went all in. And like I said, unfortunately, the Eagles won one. But I mean, the Rams got there. You know what I mean? And this is it.
Yeah.
Dak makes what, $200,000 a year. You know what I mean? Like not anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? They blew it. To me, they blew it. They blew the window. Now Zeke's getting $15 million a year. They had the opportunity. They just sat by.
They didn't hit it when it was there.
Other teams got better. And made that push.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and do this because we're just about out of time. Let's get a prediction of Monday Night Football, 7:15 Central Standard Time. Cowboys versus Giants. Who you got and what's the score?
Who's going first? Me?
Yeah, you go first.
You go.
You're honorary member of Star Chronicles, and now of course you go first.
Man, I want to say it's a slam dunk, Dallas, but I'm concerned that the Giants' defense stinks. Like I said, they'll have all their offensive weapons for the first time in the field all year. Shepard's supposed to play. They got Ingram, Golden Tate, and Saquon all in the field for the first time this year. So, I mean, I'd like to think Dallas could win, though. Their defense, that Giants defense is terrible. So,
yes,
yeah. If I were betting, I don't bet, but if I did, I'd take Dallas to win. Yeah. Any
points there?
No. I just NFC. Division games. It's so hard to call division games. I mean, I feel like division games just could go either way, but Dallas should score. If I had to guess a score, 34-17.
Okay, very, very reasonable.
Pretty good.
I like that. What do you think, Ron?
30-20 Cowboys.
30-20 Cowboys. And what do you have, Lisa?
I don't know. Like it goes back to me being that I'm like I really think I think on paper, it shouldn't even be close. And it shouldn't be close from the minute we step on the field. But it's that whole, like we've talked about before, we're coming off a bye. The Giants
that's
have
exactly
all their
what scares me
offensive.
too.
Yeah, that's the offensive Yeah, that's the thing I heard on the radio a while ago. They were talking about, like, why can't we have a coach that's known as being undefeated coming out of the bye versus the other way around? You know,
Yeah.
it's like Andy Reid is known for having his team prepared when he's coming off of a bye. So, like, I agree. I think I'm closely leaning towards, like, y'all's scores. Like, I don't think the Giants will score 20 because of their quarterback, but.
No, well, throw a point out there. Throw something.
Okay, I'm gonna make it a little wider spread. I'm gonna say 35-10.
Ooh,
Wow. Okay,
how about
well,
them Cowboys?
I'm gonna keep it simple. Not really simple. I do think we're gonna generate some turnovers this game. I do think that Michael Bennett will have some flashes and generate some type of pressure along with Tank and Robert Quinn. I do think the Cowboys will be successful and win 31-17.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's my prediction. But we are we're just kind of out of time, I guess, here. God, we've been on for a while.
I know.
But,
that went fast,
yeah, but time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
But on behalf of myself, behalf of Lisa, the Starstruck fan, and our special guest, Kyle, which I got a good feeling he's going to be around again here in the near future.
Anytime.
But I like to say goodbye to people. Would you guys all like to say goodbye to the people?
Starstruck out. Let's go.
Starstruck.
Go
Yeah, because
Cowboys.
remember, I'm the one with the keys again, and so I'm just like standing at the door with the keys jingling. I'm just like, wait, Lisa, want to say goodbye to anybody?
Go Cowboys. That's all I have to say.
And Kyle, would you like to say goodbye to the people?
Yeah. All right, Cowboys Nation, let's get this win. Get some more separation between us and Philly, and get his division win.
And fake Jerry just likes to say, make sure you come down to the game against the Vikings so you can watch the Cowboys on the big video board. Go Cowboys, out for glory hole. And I'm out.